That's sometimes the separation between a Div 3 player, an elite player, and a pro player is those tiny, tiny details. The best habit I possibly can ever tell you whenever you're intercepting, whenever you're tackling, whenever you're switching to new players, so many players don't understand the bounce backs while rebounds actually happen. And so when I am coming back to my skill level, this is one of the things I need to focus on. That doesn't create a bounce back. Maybe Anders is like one of the only person that can do that. I have matched up against a top 100 player, number 72 in the world, as you can see here. And I am going to show you exactly what you need. Stop watching videos on meta BS that gets you nowhere. Start learning the right pro way. FC coach, being a top 100 player in the world, I have built a guide to break through that skill wall that you just can't seem to get past. With my pro and fundamental bootcamp, you guys will be able to get the tools and information you need to get to the next level. If you want something more private and personal, check out my private coaching with me, just like you see here, and get your gameplay analyzed to get to elite. Looks like he's going to be attacking us with his fullback, and then he gets us right here. However, I want you to see something very, very close. Not a lot of players know about this, especially Div 3 players. If you're a Div 3 player, you should know about this mechanic. Number one, this is a switch mechanic. So right here, I switch right here in the animation, hold. So that's why he's able to get past me. I get right back in that space. I hold down bruiser here with my tactical defense. This applies a balance. It lowers the balance variables on his shooting. So it lowers his balance, lowers his RNG, gives me the chance to be able to knock off his green time and get out of there. He was an okay defender, but he was not more knowledgeable on mechanics. But over here, keeper with crouch, I should have just shot this way, would have been a goal, and we missed that one opportunity. I would say a high probable goal, so it should be 1-0, but we miss it. Part of the game. The best players in the world, they're able to move, they're able to do those type of things. But again, right here, counterattack, we're right on the way. I'm not going to try to pause it too much here, but I am going to speak through this. I do make a couple mistakes every now and then like this. This is more of a timing thing. So when you guys get to a certain level, when you're making mistakes, it's about timing and trying to take risk into reward areas. So like right now, I see that I make a bad pass. Now, what I could have potentially have done in this scenario, this exact position, is I could have done a pass that gives me like a nice bend there and gets into the space with that L2 curve, right? That would have been great here. However, I didn't. I was just going to try to use his superpower and try to ping that right into space. Both would have worked great, but Holit does step through and takes that away. The moment you want to take risk is really when you're beating defenders, when you're past already the defense. So I'm past the defense into some degree. Now, maybe I should have pulled a player lock here and then played the 2-on-1 with the center back. Would have taken a lot of time, and he would have most likely been able to track back as well. So I was trying to take advantage of that little moment there, and he just closes it down. So gameplay, high-level gameplay is all about taking chance and risk, but you do have to be aware that he is going to try to go right back there. Had I not been player switched onto my center back, not have intercepted this pass, it would have gone through. So understand that just because when you are switched on to a specific player, your balance, all your values, all your stats that are built into like a body, like let's just say it's an object, if it's just a circle object, all those stats are in this object. Well, your object is much larger when you're switched on versus not switched on. That's a huge concept to understand, like the core mechanics of how this game is built. And so that's why we're able to intercept. The best habit I possibly can ever tell you, whenever you're intercepting, whenever you're tackling, whenever you're switching to new players, you always want to go almost directly towards goal. Because had I been intercepting this play and gone directly straight, it would have gone directly right back to them, and it would have been a tackle, and then I'd lose that center back, and now he's on an attack again. That's sometimes the separation between a Div 3 player, an elite player, and a pro player is those tiny, tiny details, those tiny moments. They can be huge, and they can impact everything here. Now, what he likes to do, and it's something I like to do, is I call it touching the striker into the queen's position. If you've been following a lot of my content, you'll know what that is. We'll be talking about that later, and you guys can always check out that guide for more information. But here we go. He moved the keeper the first time, so we lay it off to lay the play. So this is something I like to talk about as well, is when you see a fullback go forward just like this, you see that player break. That is the signal to go, baby, go. You need to go. You need to attack, and you need to push it. It doesn't matter if you take risk or chance. This is where it's going to be huge if you can break that edge. You break the edge, no defender position location, no defender in that position. And so now we've got a straight cut, straight through. All we have to do is mess with here and just try to get a nice angle. So it looks like he pulls wide, he stays central. And so that allows us to get that nice curve that we just talked about, and then a nice McGeady spin into a finesse through with the incisive plus, and then wait for the animation. And when goalkeepers move, I want somebody to understand this. A lot of people don't know, but basically whenever you move a goalkeeper, almost every single player that is moving a goalkeeper does this. They run in a weird direction. Was he able to move the goalkeeper and step into this position, or step here and player switch and do both at the same time, which would be in a ridiculous level of skill? He's not, and this is still a top 100 player. Now, maybe Anders is like one of the only person that can do that. So I want you to understand, if you see them moving the goalkeeper, it's one of the hardest skills to move the goalkeeper and control a player at the exact same time. But when you go for a block, He's in a good spot. You really want to use like that L2 to create the body, and you want to hold down. You really want to power that circle and try to create that space. Now, the reason why it goes off the bar is because I actually created that movement. Now, he's most likely going here with his angle because that's just what these guys do. But with my body movement, my RNG variables, it goes off the bar. And that's just the game's way of animating two high RNGs together. And again, same concept here. When the ball goes up like this animation set, you see how high they're both going at each other? And look at the power right there. He wins potentially because of the size, and that's why he gets the better animation off. But ultimately, that is just high RNG mechanics on high RNG. As you can see, now he's going for a Travella. He ignores it. He moves away from it. The best players in the world, guys, they make decisions. They're going to attack you with metas, meta, or through pass, open shot, whatever it is. But they're going to take their chance. And if you stop them, it doesn't mean that they're going to shoot. Doesn't mean that they're going to pass. Doesn't mean that they're going to dribble into that space. It just means that you have negated that moment and that opportunity. One of the biggest separations from elite players to pro players is usually this mindset. And so when I am coming back to my skill level, this is one of the things I need to focus on myself, as he does a great job here. So if you see this, right, when we get to here, you can see he's going for that Travella. He's ready for that Travella, and that's why he doesn't pass it here. He should have passed it right there, but he's locked in on this Travella position. And so instead of going and forcing a Travella and creating a rebound, potential bounce back to me, he plays the ball back and he recycles and he resets his attack coming off of a corner. That is a very high skill level thing to do, and it's really hard to train. Then he touches a striker, he gets the ball, doesn't work out, doesn't pan out. And then I make a bad mistake, and then guess what he is doing? He's setting up that Travella again, and we lock it down because it's so obvious when players at this caliber want to play Travella. They want to play Travella. They want to play long finesse. They want to play meta over the top through balls. They don't like to, they don't like to make bad decisions. They like to make high probable scenarios off of key mechanics. They love using high RNG mechanics, just as I did here with the double R1 into the tackle space. That allowed me to mark both positions. It allowed me to do a couple things here. So when we get into the space here, when the ball comes back here, we take this step, we get into a spot. See how we're attacking? We get right on the center back. It's a 50-50 ball. That's what attacks. This is how it should look when you're losing the ball, is you're going directly at their center back. If they make a mistake, you burn them, you get the goal. If you don't, it doesn't matter. You're still in structure. Look at, we're in pretty good structure here. Now they can break this pretty quick. This is what good players do. They break it. So instantly what I'm doing is I'm tracking into this position. I was trying to get that. I was trying to catch that off and then also step here, but I was a little bit off. And so, but the double R1 allowed my player to get closer to him, slow him down, number one, get closer to him. And I'll show you guys this one more time. Get closer to the player. Number two, slow him down. And then number three, it allows me to tackle into a structured position, and that doesn't create a bounce back. So many players don't understand the bounce backs while rebounds actually happen. Rebounds occur because of bad values in mechanics. It has nothing to do with a bad game. It's just that you guys are most likely using sprints or improper mechanics, and that's why it happens. It's just a weird moment where you're looking at them versus looking backwards or the right space. It just is a bad moment of offensive, defensive mechanics, and you could argue that that's their issue, and I agree, but let's move on. Anyways, great cycle run here. I was trying to double dink it. He kind of steps in that way, and then I get a nice angle here, but look at where I'm shooting. I'm shooting directly straight. Now, had I shot into this direction, as you can see, I try to readjust. I ended up shooting like this way, and that's why we get a weird roll there. But here's the thing. There's another opportunity with an open shot, with an open net. That's number two for me. And he blocks another one. But hey, you know what? Sometimes you got to try the meta, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to do aerial, man. Aerial's so weird to play. Here we go. This time we get it. We read that play. He was really ready to hit Mycon. He needed some time there. He played that one a little too fast. So here goes straight to the striker. Oh, we get clobbered on the backside. So he did a great player switch there. 1, 2, and boost. Can I get there? No, I can't. So he gets an edge. I'm going to try to come around the interior, stay on the inside, force him wide, force him not what he wants. And I see that space. This is the best tip you possibly can do to close down over the top spammers. What you want to do is grab the center back, and then you want to go into the trajectory of where the ball is going to go, and then you really want to get into that space. Being 6'8" with Marma Jafelia really helps in that position, and look at the counter that it builds off of that. Now, the mechanics were so fast, I made a mistake and went right back to him, and you can see that's where those bounce backs come from. It's bad mechanics. It's bad mechanics and timing by our part. I went for a calculated risk, but we do a great job marking this. If you guys want to get better at tackling, this is how you're going to have to tackle going forward. When the ball comes right in, you can take a stab. I took a stab. It kills that position. Now we're going to stay right one-on-one, and then we're going boom. We're going to wait for that opening right there and go for it. So again, that was a pretty decent position. There's a backwards creative run. Do we have the space? We do have some space. I'm going to be very casual. That was me trying to be deceptive. So I was trying to send that run to be a little bit deceptive. You can see this time he gets it, man. He gets it this time. And so just understand, it's not always easy, especially against a player like this that's a top 100. But I will tell you, the recovery on this defense, I do want to go through because this is some of the best defense that you can possibly make. And it has to do with right mechanics. So you can see I'm pressing this. I'm really trying to make that hard. I just come off the exterior versus the interior. Had I gone on the interior side, no chance. Look at this weird little, it's so annoying. It gets right into huddling, arguably the fastest card in the game with 6'8", rapid plus, quick step plus. So he's literally the fastest card in the game. But I want to explain, it's not luck that I was able to block that shot. It's not luck that I was able to pull the keeper out that way. What happened is when this position hits, what I'm doing is I just press triangle as I see when it's a timing thing with how the screen's located. So no, I'm not pressing it. Now I'm pressing it. If you press it too early, he will be in shot for his next dribble. But if you press it too late, he'll be too far, then he can animate. But if you press it just in time, that he has to take one sprint touch, now it's about, if you look, right, he's not in frame, now he's in frame. So it's the second. It's like a weird timing, man. This is one of those things that I really just prove that I'm a kind of a weirdo when it comes to this game. But this is one of those examples of showing you that timing is so important, impactful, because we close that down because of that. And then strong mechanics. Players don't realize sprint jockey is not your friend. Sprint jockey is a handicap. If you've made it this far, you've most likely been enjoying the content. And if you've gotten one single tip that you haven't picked up on, I hope you guys choose to drop a like, see more of our content in the future. Because one like for free at your time takes you only 3 seconds, where it takes me several hours to make these videos as much as infrequently as possible. So hopefully you guys help me for free by just dropping a like and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so, and if you'd like to see more. Thank you. Let's get back to the content. To be elite, you need the right squad. I use FUTalert's AI trade tracker to give me alerts to my phone and track my trades in the portfolio. Enhance your FC experience with AI. Go to FUTalert in the description below. Sprint jockey is lower RNG. It's about 75% of the RNG of standing balance with L2. If you are going to try to block anything, you need to use proper mechanics. L2, you need to use circle, and you need to, if you are going to sprint jockey, you want to kind of tap the R2. That's something I need to work on because it's a timing thing. It's no different than like tapping triangle when the goalkeeper's coming out to make it harder for them to essentially shoot against you. But ultimately, guys, we stay right in the trajectory, and then we spam circle to get that. And again, we hit circle again, and then he gets a weird roll. So that's how meta players play. I'm not saying that he's a bad player, but he is a gross player. I will say that. Everything he does is extremely gross. It's gross. It's grotesque. Everything he's doing. But this time we track back. We just read that. Instead of marking it, I knew that was on the wrong player. If you see this is how you defend it. This is how you defend these through passes. The second I see I'm on the wrong player, instead of stepping here, I just track back. Boom, track back, and we get it. So it's like just being ahead of the play can arguably win that every single time. I don't know. I think he gets through one more time, which is he's pretty good at it. But here we go, and I just make a mark. So he had my player marked, or it's the intercept plus that got me. If he has intercept plus on this guy, I don't think he does, and I was just a little bit early on it. But I had the opportunity. He's very good at defending that cutback position. It's where player locks are. You see, I go back with Tron this time, just charge back, and that negates his attack. And so now he has to go and rebuild up the attack. He can't go over the top. We're going to cover those lanes. One of my key factors is really just marking at the top level. Now, I made a small mistake. If you caught it here, this is a very, very small mistake, but it opened me up pretty big. It has to do with my fullbacks, and you're going to see it here in a second. So when we cover, watch this. So right now, I'm fine. I'm good. Now I need to really make sure that I stay down. I can't approach this. Sometimes I do. And the thing about it is sometimes I do, and it's a bad habit. What I mean by that is if I play somebody at a lower skill rank, they typically like to go wide versus central. Higher level players, they like to stay central. I didn't know how good this guy was. I just knew he was a meta abuser, but he is an elite. And it was the second day of the season. So he was this guy might be a pro. I don't really know him. It's like Hisham or Yemi or something like that. But anyways, the idea here is that I opened up this position and I broke this player over here. So now I'm essentially getting attacked on a 3-on-3, which we all know basically means that somebody's open for a defense. And that's exactly how this gets in space. I want you to see something. This is how you close down a top 100 player when you're 1-on-2. What happens is it looks like I'm going to actually defend this right here. That's exactly what he sees. But what I see is that he doesn't. And so I actually go back to the shot, and then I'm managing his position 1-on-1, and I'm pulling help. So now I've eliminated the entire chance If you look at this, I have eliminated all chances to goal, and that's why we block it. And then he goes again, and we block it again. It's not luck that I was able to block it like that. It's not luck that I'm able to clear the ball like that. It's not luck that players like this are super good at certain mechanics and able to do some things that most players can't. Just like this. This is a perfect position. It's what I call crosshair defense. If you guys want my guide, you guys can get my guide, and I break down all these type of concepts and give you guys clips and tips and so much more with my coaching. But here's the thing is I show you how to do it based off of your mechanics. I have taken players from Division 7 to one of the top players in their nation, actually in their entire region, doing stuff just like this. This is what I call an adjustment. He's hitting me every single time on this, and I don't adjust. So many pro players, what they will do instead of marking him the way I'm marking him, which to be fair, I probably should do this too, is they drop their depth down a little bit. However, a high depth for me is very good against them, right? So I like to win the ball back, get chances. That's my thing. And so that's what I try to do. And so then I'm trying to manually defend the through pass. So that's what I try to do here. And that's why I'm on it right away. So instead of that working out for him again, he had to adjust. So I adjust there and I have to readjust. I'm slightly behind here. Could he have fake shotted this and then got me? Yes. But it's a timing thing where you have to take a probability chance. And if you look at it right here, this is fine. I'm fine. What happens if I run like this and then I just run just this way versus going like that? Watch the animation. He rotates on the inside versus outside. And that little tiny delay is the reason why I was slightly off. My timing and mechanics were almost right on par, but that little turn threw it off to where I had to commit. He should have seen that and hit a fake shot and then went near post. That's what he should have done. But I will tell you this, the best players in the world are able to defend both sides of the box. They're able to defend, if you look down the middle here, they're able to defend this side of the box or the goal and this side of the goal. I have my goalkeeper essentially eliminating the front side, and then I block there to eliminate the back. So if he even fake shoots, he has to stop, turn, and then I still have a chance on ball. Or if he goes completely straight, then he still has to beat my keeper, which is still a really tough angle if he gets to here. Potential, but my goalkeeper would most likely step down and a little bit back, get a better angle. And so it would have been very challenging, even though when it looks like he has an easy goal, it's not always simple and easy. And again, this is where we win a mechanic on the aerial. This guy is probably so used to getting like 3 goals a game just on knowing aerial mechanics. This reminds me of FIFA 24. Terrible defense by him, but great goalkeeper movement by him. I think that Peter Crouch is broken because he just sprinted here and then on a dime, he turns. And so I was going to go for a finesse because I was seeing the rotation. I had to open net. So that's almost 4 goals now that I should have scored. High probable chances, extremely high probable chances. He hasn't had one, or he's had 1 high probable scenario, maybe 2. You could argue that last one was a high probable. So he's had 2 probable scenarios and then 1 goal from a absolutely horrific scenario. So basically, what it comes down to is I see it as a game of chances. So if you really want to play it and you just take out the composure value, you look at your halftime report, this is one of the most important, impactful things that I think about at halftime. Your mind's going to change. Your mentality, everything's going to change. What I mean by that is dribble success, pass success, shot success. That matters significantly. If this was higher at 60% or so, this might be 2.3 or 2.5. If that's 2.5, that raises my goal expected ratio of shot to expected goals from 30% to 50%. Like over here, he's at a 15% goal expected ratio. That basically tells me that he's taken a lot of chances, but he's getting almost no return. That's like trying to shoot from half court in the NBA and then like making 1 out of every 15, right? Maybe you'll make 1, it might take 15 chances. But over here, I'm taking 5 shots and I'm getting, 3, right? Or I'm getting 3 out of 10 type of thing, right? However, I'm getting in scenarios that are significantly different than his. So my expected goal ratio should, in my opinion, be higher than 1.5 given like 3 open nets and a goal that we have. So that to me doesn't make sense totally, but I will say that is how you expect. Basically, my shot accuracy was way off, and so that's where the expected ratio comes in. But the second thing I look for is I'm looking at the dribble success rate, and I'm looking at essentially tackles one of my opponent and myself. So I'm looking at these in like possession, okay? So these are kind of really the main ones that I'm looking at. Pass accuracy is definitely something as well, but we'll get to that later. And that's where interceptions can be a factor as well. But basically what I'm doing here, guys, is dribble success rate. At 87%, that means I'm probably taking a little bit more risk than I need to, or I'm fundamentally making a couple errors. But being about 90% is where you want to be, 90 to 92. I would say it'd be on the better side. Now, you don't want to be at 95 or higher. And the reason why is because that just means you're not taking risks. You're not taking chances. And if you have a ton of possession, you don't have any shots on goal, that means you have possession without purpose. It's kind of like watching Man City kick from the left, from Grealish, go right back to Stones, and then all the way over to the other side to B-Sylve and come back and rotate around. It's not that they're not making progress until they take chance and risk, and then they give it to KDB and he takes some risk, and that's how they score. But basically, right here, my pass accuracy is way too low. Again, I like these to be about 90% to take risk and continue my play. Over here, they are 85 and then 89 right behind me. So his pass accuracy right there is 89%. So what this tells me is that we are pretty even in terms of of play, except for my pass accuracy is relatively low and his pass accuracy is way higher, but he has more possession and his chances are significantly lower. But if you look at this, the passes are relatively close, even though he has 4% more possession and more passes, right? So we're really relatively close on this game and scale to some degree. He's had 5 corners. That's what's resulted into these positions. So the idea is that when you read your menu, it's not about just I want all these stats to be 100. You don't. I mean, technically, I guess you could. You want those, but you don't want 95 plus. You want stats that matter. And the stats that matter is your goal ratio and your tackle ratio. If they have 60 tackles at halftime, that means they're coming at you and they're never going to stop. So let them come to you. If they have a goal, I have almost a 70% tackle ratio. That means that I'm converting 70% of my tackle attempts. That is significantly high. That's very high. Over here, he's about 44% or so, right? 40% over here. So I'm converting almost twice as many tackles as he is, even though it's only 3 tackles, which is crazy to think. But he is intercepting more. Anyways, the whole point of this is basically trying to tell you guys that you can understand how your opponent plays just by seeing these numbers if you combine the ideas and create these ratios together. It's about shot ratio, tackle ratio, and are you taking the right amount of risk combined? Now, ball recovery speed, you can see that one's big too. To be elite, you need the right squad. I use FUTalert's AI trade tracker to give me alerts to my phone and track my trades in the portfolio. Enhance your FC experience with AI. Go to FUTalert in the description below. I think it was very important to actually talk about match stats, especially in endgame. So here we go. We're going to try to rip this play up the pitch. I need a ball roll away. So he stabs at me. I need an L2 there. I've been working on that the past couple days. Been really focused on getting L2 into my repertoire. And there's a little fake in the pass around. I love doing that pass because it's super, super effective. And I just make a wrong mistake. I had the pass, man. I had this guy on the heels here. So 2 things I like to show on this play is number 1, be decisive and just be deceptive. Okay, just be decisive and be deceptively decisive. What that means is when it looks so obvious, it's almost like if you think about how much time do I have from here to here? So much time. I have so much time. It's ridiculous. So why do I need to make this pass right away and potentially pull that early? What I want to do is I want to sit him down and then boom, then we go. So that allows me even more space down the edge and that gives me more time to come here. So you can see high-level defenders, they're not going to come at you. They come to a position, they force you to stay on an edge, and then they backtrack. And that's exactly what he does. And so I ball roll. That ball roll throws him off. Now, my creative run, I'm trying to do this. I really am. I'm trying to do this, and I push it the wrong way. I just know this because I do this so many times that this is just my this is my movement. So you'll see, yeah, and it flicks that way, and I'm trying to go back, and I'm trying to go this way. And had I done that properly, at a significant level. Now that you won't see in the stat sheet, you'll see that as like a tackle or an interception or both. But there he goes again, proper mechanics there, creates that weird little animation, and then we get the roll there. So, but that's how fast they come back at you. From their box to my box, it's less than like 2 seconds, and they're in that box. And then right back at them, and there I go, try to be cheeky, play some cheek there, and so it just pulls off. And you see those weird little animations? When the ball freezes like that, that means that they have animated mechanics, but they don't know how to use them correctly, right? Or sort of like the game doesn't know what to animate, so it creates those weird animations, and it's just trying to like find something, but it doesn't have an animation set for that specific scenario. And so those are the things that will come out, I believe, in future EA games and their collision system as they improve, is different animation sets where it's right there, perfect time play. And again, there's another wide open play, and he blocks it, man. It's just pure crouch. Just watch. See, so it's wide open. It's literally wide open. And then look at the step, dude. It's just like, that's ridiculous. I should not have to green time that. But what I should do is know that he is going to move the keeper and just go near post. I should have known that. Like, I should know that, right? And so that's like the 3rd or 4th goal that we should have had on this guy, just from open nets and just moving the goalkeeper. Is it because he's really good at moving the goalkeeper? Yes, he is very good at moving the goalkeeper. But is it also because that Peter Crouch has a faster animation speed than almost every goalkeeper? Yeah. So I mean, is it technically a little broke? Sure, you could argue that, but it's in the game, so we have to deal with it. There's no point of me like being upset about it and being like this stupid game or anything like that. That's not how you want to think. You have to keep going. You have to keep attacking. And so there, we're trying it on him, and we barely mess up our timing on this. I used the wrong mechanic. So I use X versus triangle. I should go 1, 2. I should hit triangle. So I send him on the run, and then I hit X, or does it go to the wrong? Where did I press? I'm gonna look at the button here. Yeah, I use X here. It should have been triangle. If that was triangle, would have been through, but I messed up again. So he basically is just doing the exact same thing every single time, which is totally fine. But the thing about it is it's easy to read. There's his fullback out again. And I don't know if you know this, but I just hit the best creative run and you didn't even see it. And I'm going to show it to you guys again. Moves his keeper again, and he still blocked it. So it's like, dude, it's crazy. But I should have just shot near post there, right? Or I should have laid it off. But right here, I want to show you guys the greatest creative run. You may not even know this, but you can actually engage a creative run way early, way late. So he's been so used to me just ripping passes from this point on because I ping pass plus with Captivia. So a lot of high-level players, if you look, you can see his controllers right here. A lot of high-level players, they love to jump right there. But when he jumps, I'm going to send a back run over him. So I call him to me and then I send him again and I use some creativity to get that space right behind him. There's the set. And then we get the nice, just a nice cheeky finish there. So it works out for us, right? So that was a huge creative run in that moment. Now we're up 2-1 in the 65th. It should be like 5-2 right now, right? Or it should be like 5-1, right? Probably. But anyways, it doesn't matter. It's still 2-1. It's a close game based off of how this game is and what it is. So this was his best tackle. And unfortunately, my entire AI was in like a weird transit mode from offense to defense. And it's just this tiny moment. And he's able to capitalize on a counter. And I want you to see this. Most goals, 99% of goals are scored from bad defense. 90% of bad defense comes from bad attacking timing. So basically, when your attack is out of position and you lose the ball, it's usually the case. So like right here, I have so much time. I do adventure this on. So what I was going to do is fake here and then rip it back here. Instead, he goes direct here. So I was going to fake and then cut back, and I was going to double dink there. But he ends up stepping into that, and then that creates my fullback is way wide. This fullback is on fullback defend, should be here. This one should be here. They are not. And so given where Captivia should have been, that would have been closed down. And then I was slightly off on my mechanics back to the position. So right here, I didn't need to be, I was actually avoiding this. And so then I'm holding R1. And if you look, that little rotation right there, he turns this way. If he had turned this way, I would have been more central and I would have been able to close down the lane better without having to do a full 360 inefficiently. So that, then he wins that by a mistake off of me, technically, but it was like a gimme. I would like to say that's like a gimme in golf, right? More or less. And so here we go again. The next one's really gross. His next goal is very, very gross as well. So I get into a weird spot. I'm trying to go right here. I go for a slide tackle. I win the slide tackle, and then he stays up. I don't get the ball, and then he's in a perfect Travella. My player animates because I'm actually using sprint jockey. It misses the animation, and then it goes top bends off the back of my player and into the goal off of a weird even animation glitch. If you actually watch the goalkeeper, he'll like do like a weird animation right there, and so then he gets a goal. So you could say they're deserved, or you could say they're undeserved, but I would argue that they are not deserved. But ultimately, it is what it is, and that's part of the game. So now we have to like break out of that and come back into this match. And let me tell you, I get mad, and I know it's all mechanics. I know it's all mechanics now, and so what I do is I'm focusing on really tough mechanics. I know that he likes possession, so I go for a crunching tackle right here. I haven't done that all game long. That's not a normal play for me to take a tackle like this. This is not a normal. Let me see here. Yeah, this Marma move, this Marma play is not a normal tackle. I will say that. And so when I tackle out of position into strong areas, it's not normal for me. And I just barely missed that when he got there. So you can see, if he had not switched on to him, I would have been able to get free there and gotten there in time. So a lot of our play at the highest level, at the pro level, is against their player switching timing and being able to beat them to that player switch, just like you see here. And then boom, now I'm going to tackle step. This is where mechanics come in. Tackle step. And then we're going to turn, ball roll, cut. He tackles, I tackle. You can see that I tackle, boom, I'm spamming. That's button spam. So hopefully that gets fixed, but that's how I get a goal. This is a gross goal. But you know what? I was so annoyed. I don't like to play like this until my opponent wins a game or wins opportunities from being gross. You see how he's being gross? I'm going to be gross right back out. Boom, boom, boom. And then right there, and then boom, and just try to get that. You see how the animation set is super weird? There's a really weird set animation by his defender. If you look right here, he's like not animating. He just didn't animate. And the reason why is because I was spamming and it just kept on. I think it just negated his collision And so it ended up working out for me because he would have to clear the ball there. And I don't think he wanted to clear the ball. So I don't think he actually spammed in that moment, which is exactly what he needed to do. The last few minutes of this come down to the wire, and it gets really close here. So I'm going in for a crunching tackle again, uncharacteristic in this match. So I'm trying to catch him off guard. I want to win. I don't like playing to draw. You know, I'm not Manchester City. You know what I'm saying? I'm not Man U, right? I'm not trying to be 12th from the table. We're trying to be number 1, right? So here we go. So the idea here is that we go and we're managing. I apologize, guys. I apologize. I know there's a ton of Man U fans. But basically, we're going to stop that, and there's that, man. And so we actually block this. He does a great job. He greens it. He does Travella. He sets it up, and I can see it. I was on the wrong player. I needed to be on Teo. And if you look here, boom, I'm blocking it with De Gea, and that's why we end up getting the block barely, right? If I don't have that far reach playstyle plus, and if De Gea is not 6'4" with 80 pace, we're not going to win that. And so again, he goes for another meta crap. Again, he's going for meta, and so we just block meta again. So we have to go for meta again. Now this is a tip I'm doing. I'm holding down R2 to throw off his timing for these, because right now he's probably like, he's trying to go and spam. And so it gives me, I kid you not, it gives me barely, not even half a second, gives me like 0.2 seconds more to be able to get a term over to get that little tiny position. There he goes again, man. And he's trying to go for it. And so I read it, but like everything he does is all just meta spam, meta spam, meta spam. Now here's the thing. Hernandez on the edge here, breaking. But the worst part about this is right here, I'm going to kill my camera. He's in red. He's in red, man. So it's like right here, he's in red. And what that does is it kills your RNG variables, and the angle and trajectory is behind the player. My values were so low that he wins that ball. Get us to 100 likes, please. That would be amazing.